And he saved Chrysler, and now he's saving everybody. I've asked him to come tonight, not a speech, but a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the head of all of those companies, plus Maserati, Sergio Marchionne. So where do you live?
On an airplane.
I know. I mean, do you have a place you call home?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, not Detroit, not Italy.
No, I spend a third of my time here. And the rest of it is everywhere else. So, this is really
You still have 9 Blackberries?
No, I never had 9.
How many did you have?
I had 6 communication devices.
2
3
in Portuguese,
phones,
2
3
in
Blackberries.
Italian, 2 in English?
No, you see, I go to places where most European networks don't work. So I've simplified everything down to 3 phones.
2?
3.
3. 1 each language?
Yes. There's a third in there, but don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is really awkward. Yeah.
You can lean on it.
I think we should go sit down in my car.
Well, we could do that, but that wouldn't work. So tell me, you're now chairman of Ferrari.
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
It was time for a change. I think Luca has done a great job of leading that business for 23 years. We hadn't won a Formula One championship since 2008. We had a disaster of a season in 2014. And I think organizations tend to get lazy. So it was time to bring about some change. I think the car side, the passenger car side, I think is doing tremendously well. But at the heart of the success of Ferrari is what it does on the Formula One track. And if it doesn't get that right, if it doesn't fight properly, then I think it will ultimately impact on the brand. So we have to intervene.
Have you picked a new head of racing?
Yeah, we have a new guy, team principal, who has been involved in racing a long part of his professional life, a guy by the name of Maurizio. And he's busy now. We got a technical guy, Allison, who's taken over the technical side of the business. And so we've got the team. So we're waiting to get started.
That's not the problem.
We're starting the season a bit late because the design of the new car was started late. But the last F1 commission meeting, we were able to extract, I think, a positive interpretation of the rules that allows us to make changes throughout the season. So we don't have to freeze the engine for the first race. So it'll be a very interesting season. I think the car will get better as we go through the season.
You know, I'm curious. I've looked at Porsche over the last 15 years.
That's unfortunate.
And what they've done. What they've done with their brand. They used to just sell 911s. Now they said this year they're planning to sell 200,000. Does that make you envious? Or do you see any of that applying to Ferrari?
None. I think Ferrari is a unique thing.
No SUV Ferrari?
No.
No 4 doors?
No. No, that's not what Ferrari is. I mean, look, Maserati received a couple of awards tonight. I'm very, very envious of the other ones that received the others. But and congratulations to all the companies that were awarded. But we have other brands that are capable of dealing with Porsche in the marketplace. Maserati at one end and Alfa ultimately on the other are sufficiently wide in terms of product portfolio to try and deal with Porsche in the marketplace. Ferrari is a unique animal. It doesn't, Ferrari doesn't spend a bloody dollar in advertising. Never has, never will. It's a unique thing. It's a combination of attributes that go back to the founder. And we need to preserve them. We need to make sure that we don't produce any more cars than the market demands. We can't stuff distribution channels. We've got to be very, very selective about our clientele. And we've got to make sure that the exclusivity of the brand remains untouched. And that's the reason why you bought one.
Did you ever meet Enzo?
No, but I've read enough things about him. I think he was a unique human being, truly.
Does a Ferrari have to be built completely in Italy?
Yes. Anything else is blasphemy.
Now, tell me, explain to me, so I can understand it. During this process, you've got a corporate headquarters in the Netherlands, you've got another corporate headquarters in London,
Yeah.
and the merger of these two companies. How does that work? Why do you need two places?
To allow American shareholders to receive dividends out of SCA on a withholding tax-free basis. It's that simple.
Is that Netherlands?
There's a
or
bad
that
treaty. There's a bad treaty between the U.S. and Holland. It's not efficient. There was a better one between the U.K. and the U.S. So
That's why you need the UK.
that's why we need the U.K.
Why do you need the Netherlands?
Because for a variety of reasons, one of which was to allow for this creation of a loyalty voting scheme, which we introduced with CNH Industrial and has been replicated in the case of Fiat Chrysler automobiles, but also because we needed a vehicle that corporately had all the attributes that could allow for a listing in the U.S. And Holland was the best thing that we could find in the European context to allow us to do that.
Does anybody?
This is, I mean, our primary listing, to be honest, over time, whether it happens in 15 or shortly thereafter, is going to be the U.S. When you look at our breakdown of revenues, we are fundamentally a North American-driven house with relatively large operations in Latin America and Europe, but we are very much North American-driven.
How do you break that to the Italians?
Very nicely, very gently, but that information has been delivered to them now over the last 5 years since we started our venture with Chrysler back in '09, and we've had, I think, a relatively open disclosure with the Italian public, and I think that there's an understanding now that the future of Fiat in its pre-Chrysler days would have been a lot more dubious than, more uncertain, the one with a combined future with Chrysler. I think that everybody knows it today, and I think the people inside Chrysler understand that the internationalization of the Chrysler business, what's happened with Jeep, what Mike Manley and his team have been able to do with Jeep could have only have happened if the partner had been a non-American partner. And so the combination has worked. I have zero regrets about the combination. I think it benefited both houses, and the rest is history. And I think we need to move it on from here.
Do Italians want to buy Jeeps? I know you're starting to build them and manufacture.
We're starting to build them there, but we started importing vehicles into Europe now pretty aggressively in the last 2.5 years. The problem is that we haven't had enough available to import into Europe. We now have local production of the smallest Jeep that we manufacture, the Renegade, that's coming out of an
Will
Italian
they be
plant.
European Jeeps or American models that you're going to make over there?
All Jeeps are American, regardless of where they're manufactured.
Which ones are you going to sell on?
Sorry?
Which models?
Well, the Renegade is manufactured locally and sold there, but we sell, the Cherokee is sold there, the Grand Cherokee, the Wranglers. The whole range is available.